Hey, I'm Stephanie, and welcome to Wine Club. This is the place where I drink good wine while I whine about bad books. And today's offender is, unfortunately, The Haters by Robin Harding, which is quite fitting, as I'm a hater. I found a book made just for me. It's really disappointing because I saw so many good reviews for this. Now, I do want to give a warning. There are going to be spoilers and some shit talking in this review. If that is not your varietal, you probably will not like this video. If you want a spoiler-free version of this review, please check out my What I Read in March video. And I also want to say that this review is solely about the book and not about the author as a person. I'm sure Harding is lovely. And I know that she is talented. I've read some of her other work. It is so much better. I don't know what happened here. But let's go ahead and see what this book promised to be about. Cameron Lane is living her dream. After she's faced years of struggle and rejection, her first novel has finally been published. Her editor is happy, her teenage daughter is proud, and her boyfriend and friends are all excited for her. She's on top of the world, until she receives a disturbing message from an unknown sender. Rattled by the accusations she finds there, Cameron swallows the sick feeling in her stomach and resolves to put the missive out of her mind. But when she checks her ratings on a popular book site, she finds a scathing 1-star review. The reviewer is so articulate and convincing that soon, Cameron's book is flooded with bad reviews. Could the reviewer be the same person who sent the ugly email? And why do they want to ruin her? As the online harassment creeps into Cameron's personal life, she vows to find out who's behind it. Is it really a disgruntled reader, or could it be someone she knows? The troll's actions are escalating, and when the abuse turns deadly, it will take everything Cameron has to unmask the enemy, so intent on destroying her, and finally, learn why she's being targeted. I also want to read a call-out quote blurb on the back, as it is quite a lie. So, by Hannah Mary McKinnon, the best-selling author of Only One Survives, which makes me nervous now to read that, because she says, "The Haters by Robin Harding had me hooked and terrified from the opening page. No wonder, because this psychological thriller about the dangers of how we handle social media is clever, propulsive, full of truly gasp-worthy moments, and will have you thinking twice before posting anything online again." Although there is one on here that from Sherry LaPena, the author of The Couple Next Door, "Robin Harding is a rare talent. I could not put this book down." Now, I agree with that. I could not put this down either, but I don't think there are truly gasp-worthy moments, and there's absolutely nothing that terrifying that happens within this book. You're a liar, McKinnon. You know, with the reviews by other authors, I would actually love it if books started just using real readers' reviews. They could still be positive reviews for sure. But at this point, I don't trust a lot of these authors that gush about these books that end up being hot garbage. It just seems like they're trying to say nice things so this author will then say nice things about them and their book. Get a real reader who has no skin in the game. Let them share what they thought. And no ARC reviews either. I don't fully trust them, as obviously they want to keep getting free books, and no one is giving free books to haters. I paid for this, so I can say what I really feel about this. And honestly, I'm a little conflicted. I read this in pretty much a day. It is an easy read. I mean, again, like LaPena says, I could not put this down, and I found the writing to be pretty good. It was well paced, for the most part. I was eager to unravel the mystery of who hates Cameron, our main character, so much that they are tormenting her and review bombing her. But then as I kept reading, I understood exactly how someone could hate her so much. Because Cameron is the worst. She is a terrible main character and protagonist. She should be smart and patient and able to reason things out, as she is a school counselor. But no, she cannot even handle the smallest situation. She gets an email from a hater and basically buys the first ticket to Crazy Town, where the population is 1 because it's Cameron. And truly, I mean it, she is unhinged and hysterical. Now, no author wants to deal with 1-star reviews, but my God, does she go over the top. Cameron escalates things to no end. She takes everything so personally and is so self-absorbed, but is constantly harping on about how her daughter is the most important thing in her life. She'll do anything for Liza. Liza is the only thing that matters. I swear, 10 chapters end with her resolving to do better because she wants to make Liza proud and only focus on Liza. And yet she doesn't know Liza at all. Honestly, I don't think Cameron knows anything at all. Like, I sympathize with her at first because, again, it would suck to get such harsh criticism, especially when it's pretty unfounded and untrue. Like, basically the reviewers are saying that she has stolen these stories or stole the story for her book from her students, which she didn't. And I get it, even constructive criticism can be hard to take. But my God, she sounds like she must make a terrible counselor, as she actively hates some of her students and acts like judge, jury, and executioner when it's been proven that she has no instincts and constantly misjudges people and situations. She also came across as extremely naive and out of touch. Like, she's got this whole, like, oh, I can't do TikTok thing. And like, bitch, no one's asking you to. And it didn't seem to fit her characterization as this person who has a teenage daughter. She works with teens all the time. You think in some regard she would be kind of up to date on like technology and slang and just what's going on in the world? No. I also gotta say, I don't think she knows how to write, as we get like random chapters of her book, which is called Burnt Orchid. And I'm telling you, this book would get 1-star reviews. It was not good. And I expected some sort of payoff in the end for having to get through all these chapters. I guess we do get a small bit of a payoff, as one scene from her book is recreated in, real life. But we didn't need all those other chapters just to set that one thing up. Because in the end, the other excerpts meant nothing. I truly thought we were going to find out that like Cameron did steal the story, or it was actually about her and her childhood. Nope, it's not that either. We're just doing all these chapters just for one little like payoff. That again, the payoff, because she has to say, oh, that happened in my book to the police when they're investigating this thing. That would have been fine with me too. I don't need to read all these crappy chapters from her book just to have that little bit of knowledge. It was a waste of time. And with Cameron, I actually expected it to come out that she is delusional. Again, she overreacts to the extreme and is so impulsive when she is supposed to be this best-selling author and this high school counselor. Like, she even calls one of her students the devil and hopes that this psychopath gets an exorcism performed. I mean, that student is very like Regina George-esque, but I didn't get stone cold psycho. She's a teenager pushing the boundaries and trying to figure out how much power she can wield and how much power she has over others. It's not a great look, but I also don't think that this girl needs an exorcism. If anything, I'm scared of Cameron more than I'm scared of this teenage girl. And Cameron just gets worse as the book goes on. But also, so does the plot. It's very repetitive. Like, Cameron would try to ignore the bad reviews. She has zero self-control, so she would check online, try to do some sleuthing to figure out who's behind these threatening emails, freak out, and then make a stupid decision, and then get mad that her actions have consequences. It's just lather, rinse, repeat. Which is kind of funny, as one scene involves someone like squirting shampoo all over her bathroom. I mean, is it creepy that someone was in her house? Yes, creepy. But shampoo? Am I supposed to be scared of shampoo? I mean, I guess it would be a bitch to clean up, because as soon as you start adding water to try and clean up, it would start sudsing. But like, it's shampoo. It's not like somebody smeared blood all over her bathroom. So not only is the story repetitive, but also feels like it's trying to do so much and weave in so many connections and plot threads, but at the same time, it feels super lightweight, which I honestly, I don't really know how to explain. Like, Cameron is pointing her finger at so many people, and everyone in this book is just downright nasty. And Cameron included. Cameron thinks one of her writing friends who's jealous of Cameron's success is behind these attacks. And then no, it must be one of her students. Oh no, then it has to be her ex-husband's snide new wife. Oh no, then it's another friend who is jealous. Cam, I read part of your book. No one's jealous. Well, I guess they are jealous that you did the bare minimum and you wrote a crappy book that actually got published by a big house. I guess maybe they are jealous because they don't understand what deal with the devil you apparently made to have this happen. And none of her friends really sound like friends. There are some that even accuse her of making up the situation at one point, or accuse her of stealing book concepts from their own lives. Cameron's not exactly doing herself any favors as she pulls a Carrie Bradshaw and makes every conversation about herself and her ridiculous problems, but her friends also really suck in this. I really think her ex-husband and she has this journalist friend are the best people in her life. She has a boyfriend at the time, but he doesn't impact the plot much. He's just there really to be a red herring, but I was never once compelled to think that it was him. So the majority of the book is about Cameron finding out who started this review bombing thing and sent her mean emails, and the lengths that she will go to find out. She ends up hiring a hacker and ends up harassing an innocent woman who is basically the victim of catfishing, which ends up being filmed and goes viral online. And again, she looks like such a crazy during this video. There's also the subplot of one of Cameron's students who's named Abby. Abby basically almost OD'd at this party, and the school administration is trying to figure out who supplied the drugs and who filmed this almost overdose, as the psycho student that Cameron thinks is the devil shared this video on social media, but she won't say where she got the original video from. And these two plot points do end up meeting in the end, and then we also find out somehow Liza was involved in both plot threads. Told you, Cameron knows nothing about her own daughter. In the end, it ends up being revealed that it was Abby who sent the email and riled up all the haters. She wanted to hurt Liza by hurting Cameron because Liza knew about the pills and the mean girl filming her. And Mean Girl has been stoking the flames and basically destroying Abby and Cameron's lives at the same time. Oh, and the little setup that was created by the chapters of Cameron's book. In her book, there's a scene where someone starts a grease fire. And Abby does this after finding out Cameron hired a hacker to figure out who sent the email. So Abby takes that scene from her book and then goes and does that at the hacker's house to scare him, but then the guy dies in the fire. This man lost his life to find out who sent Cameron a mean email. God, Christ on a cracker, that poor guy, may he rest in peace. And then the book just kind of ends. Abby is off to get the mental health care that she desperately needs. The psycho student really paid the price and is no longer popular. And Liza is moving halfway across the world. Good for you, Liza. Get away from your mother. She is insane. And Cameron isn't going to be deterred. She's gonna write another book. The Haters. I hate it. I hate it. I like meta humor, but not after going through all of this. I will say the review bombing aspect was pretty interesting, but it also felt very unrealistic. So people are mad that in her real career she works with children and wrote a book about troubled teens. They say that she stole somebody's story, even though she didn't. And she is able to prove that she didn't by, going through her students' histories. None of them have any similarities to the main character in her book. Now, the part that was really weird to me is, I can understand them accusing her of stealing the stories, but then they start accusing her of, loving children in a way she shouldn't, or being a PDF file. Like, again, the manipulator and thief angle I can understand, but not the other. Like, I know people throw out names and terms when they're angry, but it was just such a consistent one. Like, when that wasn't an allegation that she was inappropriate with her students in that way. It just, it didn't make sense to me. Now, a good aspect about the book was talking about how dangerous it can be, especially for women and BIPOC authors. Like, the haters threaten to end her or hurt her daughter, and that is not okay. It's just not okay. People can be mad and not agree with the author, but to threaten harm is absolutely disgusting. I really appreciated how the book talked about that aspect of mob mentality, and again, especially when it's directed to women or minorities. Not okay. You can disagree with something and still not threaten to hurt the person who created that thing. I know what this book wanted to be, but it just felt too convoluted and over the top, and had a main character that made me want to see her suffer instead of support her. And I also don't think it really brought the two storylines together well, since there were just so many moving parts and so many people to keep track of and how they were connected in the end. Like, honestly, I finished the book, and then I remember looking at my husband and being like, well, that was a waste. And then I started writing this review, and I could not remember. I thought it was Liza who was behind it all, and then I reread the ending, and I was like, oh yeah, it was Abby. Whoops. It just, the ending's not good. And honestly, I really don't like that this was classified as a thriller. This is not a thriller. There's some suspense, but it's not really thrilling because Cameron doesn't act like a human being about anything. Most of her problems are of her own doing, and it's really hard to be scared of some like random hater when Cameron constantly makes every single situation 10 times worse. And there's just so much focus on Liza and how she's not going to college, and Cameron's ex-husband and his new wife and all of their petty drama and fighting. Like, I just wanted a thriller about someone coming after this author. So I really hate to give it a low rating, especially when it's a book about an author's life spiraling out of control after getting a bad review. But I'm only giving this 2 stars. I will repeat that this was a fast read, and I did want to understand what was going on, but it becomes so messy, and its pace becomes really uneven at the end. If you want something to like read on the plane to quickly pass the time and you're going to keep turning the pages, or you're just looking for like a popcorn thriller, but very light on the thrills, I mean more emphasis on the popcorn aspect, this could fit the bill. Again, I sped read through this. I was so intrigued until pretty much, like, I'd say the 75% part. And then I just feel like the ending kind of just fell apart for me. And again, Cameron, God. I haven't hated a main character since I think my last, like, Darcy Coates read. I am going to try Harding again in the future. I will pick up another work of hers, as I know she can do so much better. If you do have any recs for books about like the dark side of social media or books that feature authors as main characters, I would love to hear about those suggestions. Drop a comment for me and share your recommendations. Otherwise, thanks for joining me at Wine Club.